Investors in David Cho's TPG Telecom have mounted a rebellion against the company's poor disclosure on pay, delivering a first strike at its annual general meeting. Mr. Cho and Washington H. Soul Pattinson control about 60% of the company's shares. Mr. Cho was ineligible to vote on the remuneration report. Despite Robert Milner sitting on the board of directors of both Washington H. Soul Pattinson and TPG, Soul Pats was still able to vote. Of the remaining free float, about 3/4 of the votes cast were against the adoption of the pay report, meaning TPG copped an almost 30% no vote. This is the company's first strike under the two-strike rule, which requires a spill resolution to be held to determine whether board members will stand for re-election if there are two consecutive AGMs where shareholders vote in excess of 25% against the remuneration report. Mr. Milner described it as a protest vote that was disappointing, though refused to comment on how Soul Pats cast its votes. He said there was little change between the remuneration reports of 2016 and 2017. In September, TPG announced they were cutting their dividend from 7.5 cents to a fully franked 2 cents. And the company experienced its biggest share price drop of the year in April, when it fell 16% to $5.50. The share price has since recovered to $6.12 at 12:48 AEST, the highest result since the drop. TPG director Danny Ledbury said he was also disappointed in the number of votes against the report, given the company's success over the years. Shareholders raised differing concerns about the structure of the board, including the lack of women and the type of skills that might be needed in the next 3 years as TPG builds Australia's fourth mobile network. Mr. Cho's salary and fees totaled $1,601,000 in 2017, compared to $1,600,000 in 2016. His short-term incentive cash bonus was a steady $1,600,000 in both years. His non-monetary benefits totaled $117,000 in 2017, compared to $45,000 in 2016, increasing his overall total short-term package from $3,245,000 to $3,318,000. Dean Partsk, director at proxy advisory firm Ownership Matters, said a large part of the remuneration problem simply related to disclosure. TPG has had an up and down year, Mr. Partsk said. The issue was that there is no disclosure about what makes up the bonus. That concern was echoed at the meeting. The majority in attendance applauded announcements from Mr. Cho that the board would remain stable and likely at its current size and composition. Mr. Cho pointed to the remarkable stability of our senior management team with an average tenure of 17 years and modest remuneration compared to companies in the industry. He also flagged the margin headwinds that the group is facing as a result of the building of the NBN network, and the consequential decline in the company's share price over the past year. However, I am confident that the strategies we are implementing will continue to create excellent value for shareholders over the long term, he said. The big change that is on the cards for the telecommunications company is its move into mobile, in particular plans to take on Optus, Telstra and Vodafone with a fourth mobile network.